Thank you, guys. First and foremost, who came to Flow today on the tube? Show of hands. Okay, very good. I flew in on Monday from Spain, took the Gatwick Express, jumped on the Victoria line. First thing I saw was a digital display ad in the tube, Adobe Express, showing their app and some new Gen AI features. Quick show of hands. Who has Adobe Express, Canva, or Photo Room on their mobile phone? Anybody? I was expecting a few more. Okay. Anyways, you guys are pretty cool. I don't have Adobe Express ads and Gen AI at the tube where I live, but I think it's just amazing to see how far we've come that they're pushing this out to the masses. There's been so many amazing sessions the last 2 days. I hope a lot of this is going to funnel in to talk about your creative standards, okay? That's what we're here to talk about today. Thomas mentioned this is our 12th Flow event. I've been to 11. It's not to brag, but it is actually, we've seen a very significant evolution of the conversations at Flow. The first couple of years, we were deep into workflow. We were talking about flow production and optimization and efficiency, right? And we've seen a radical shift, even just the last 2 years, with the whole, AI explosion. First starting up with the excitement and then talking about hypothetical use cases, uncertainty, fear, testing, and actually we've seen so many amazing cases of actual real commercial use cases, right? We really come full circle. So yeah, we've come super far. I think if we zoom out, this has obviously, like, innovation cycles, they've been repeating themselves. And there's so many similarities of what we have been seeing. Obviously, we are going in light speed today, but if we just go back in time to, film to digital switch, we probably wouldn't be here today talking about creative ops if we didn't go through this first major transition. But this, at the start of it all, right, it meant more content, faster content, and easier workflows. Sounds pretty familiar to a lot of the benefits that we're seeing today, right? More content, faster content, easier workflows. We'd have to wait for a film to develop to see if the lighting was set up, right? I mean, obviously this is all about speed and efficiency. But again, we went through that full cycle of uncertainty, fear, testing, and then implementation. Photoshop, like that Subway ad that we saw, but Photoshop's been around since the 90s. It allows us to say things like, let's fix this in post. Don't need to worry about scuff marks or loose hair or something like that. Again, really helped us to improve the speed and reduce the amount of time in the studio. But again, went through that full cycle. I think a lot of creatives were felt a little bit threatened by this, and obviously now it's really integrated into the day-to-day of a lot of our lives. Moving on and maybe shifting a little bit more towards bulk production. Actions and scripts. I think in the early 2000s, scripting really became a thing. We also started to see a lot of ops guys, maybe even some developers, poke their heads into the studio space. And really we're starting to merge tech and creative coming together, right? Again, more content, faster content, easier workflows. And then finally, I know we've had some sessions touching on a lot of the different collaboration tools. The Capture One session, it's like, I think there's just a continuous evolution of this, but some really awesome tools that are available to all of us today to collaborate in real time. I think one of the things that's interesting, a lot of these changes, right, have really been focused on the workflow itself, like how we're actually working. But when it comes to this AI explosion we've been living through, like, we're not only talking about the workflows that are changing, but it's actually like the creative itself that is changing. So, the last 2 years, I don't know if this expression translates in the UK, but like we've had a deer in the headlights moment. I think we've been seeing so much tech being released daily, weekly, monthly, whatever. It's just been nonstop, right? And so it's been I think as all of you guys have been living this, we've seen this really come full circle. This is from earlier today, Faye and Chris's session. Right, this is the mad landscape of all the different AI tools that have just exploded into the marketplace today, right? And this is just I mean, I think if we just look at this, we're not just talking about asset creation and videos. We're literally talking about everything: people management, team management, personal management, everything, right? And I think this stuff is coming so fast, and there's so many opportunities. We have this shiny object syndrome. Like, what are we actually going to focus our time on? So, I think all of us here, we can sit back and relax and maybe wait for somebody to tell us, hey, implement that, right? Or we can also take the other approach and be proactive in embracing a lot of this new technology and actually helping our own companies, shape that standard and a lot of the things going forward. So I've got one call to action for my session today. It's a pretty simple one. It's actually just to hit that reset button. I think we heard that in the first session of the day, of really just to take stock of everything that's going on. I know that we're in high volume production environments. A lot of you guys are running some pretty incredible operations, but have you actually hit that button and, taken stock of where we are today, right? With everything that is available, with all of these tools that are available for you today, how are you incorporating them, and does it even make sense to incorporate them? I think there's a lot of questions around this that we need to be asking ourselves, okay? So quick show of hands for the people that recognize these images, and the people in Kevin Mason's session can't raise their hand. Okay, just a few. This was actually the Sunset Dream collection that the Mango team launched just over the summer, a Gen AI inspired campaign that they got a lot of press around. How about same thing, Kevin Mason's session, no hands please. Anybody recognize these? I think maybe some of you guys here created these. But anyways, there's so many actual use cases. This is a Zalando image, studio images that are being shot with Gen AI backgrounds. But this I think was just shared a couple weeks ago, on social. There's so many amazing cases that are hitting, the site today. And then not just 2D images, but we're also seeing an explosion of new tech when it comes to video. I know you guys have seen this one, but this is Amazon Ads, latest and greatest, just I think 2 weeks ago. Upload a 2D still and automatically get a full product video ready to be added to your listing page. So we are moving extremely fast. I think, this is about your standard. What is your standard with all of this new technology? It's not an easy question to ask because every brand is going to have their own creative standard, right? But with this AI explosion, we've seen the excitement. We've probably felt the uncertainty, the fear. We've been testing for a long time, right? But now is the time for this implementation. So hit that reset. What is this new standard, right? And I think in some of the sessions today, we've looked a lot across what is commonplace now on PDP. And there's a lot of uniformity, right? I think there is a communal standard, and that is going to change. That is changing now, right? But we're looking back, I don't think that has evolved yet. And so what is going to be our role in creating that new standard, okay? That doesn't need to feel like a burden, right? That you need to solve that yourself. I think one of the things that I'm most proud about at Pixelz is our ability to bring together this community, and that each of you guys can rely on the amazing talent in this room, whether that's your peers or your colleagues or the partners, and actually come together to help one another to actually define what that standard is for each of your brands. I think with everything that you've seen, obviously this is constant evolution, but I would love for everybody to grab their phone and jump on Slido. I would like to hear, what is one new thing that you're going to be bringing back to your studio that you've learned in the last couple of days? Maybe it could be something you want to test, but what is something that you actually want to bring back that's going to be impacting your creative standard? We'd love to just get some ideas and see what people are thinking about after the last couple of days. We've got one person in. Okay, love Slido. At least we could see what people are doing. Live shopping, user-generated content. Yeah, the Zara example was pretty awesome with all the social proof on there. Super cool. Excitement around new tech, personal branding. We've got a lot of people talking. Kelsey, some new AI policies, standards, and rules. Awesome. Revenue attribution, testing. When it comes to creating our creative standards, we have some pretty amazing sessions. I think we had some deep dives into the branding side, and then really on the conversion rate optimization side. But like, what questions do we need to be asking ourselves, during this reset or this pause? We talked a lot about storytelling, right? And what this tech can actually do to help you tell better stories about your products. It's like fundamental to everything what we're doing. So like, is it are you going to be able to create more lifestyle campaign images that are going to bring your products to life, right? Is it leveraging video or derived assets? How are you going to be able to tell a better story with this, right? And of course, we touched a lot about authenticity. Maybe CGI is not for everybody. Maybe AI models is not for every brand. I think if we go to that Mango example with the Sunset Dreams collection, I mean, they were very forthright with disclosing exactly how they were producing their content. It was a really awesome example of like a hybrid production workflow where they're leveraging technology, bringing together photographers, retouchers, and really rallying around a new technology, but putting it out there. And I think that they did that in a very authentic way. And yes, I think there were some different opinions online about that, but I think just going to market with that, for me, that was a huge success and a move in the right direction. And then value. We had a ton of sessions. We had multiple sessions, right? Actually talking about testing. I think maybe a weak point, honestly, in this room. It seems there's a lot of uncertainty about testing infrastructure, our ability to actually measure the impact of this content, right? I think there's some of the biggest retailers and brands in the world here today that are doing a phenomenal job of that with a lot of resources. But when we go down to some of the smaller brands, it definitely feels like we need to get that in place. We need to be able to have that testing infrastructure to actually prove out, hey, that we're not just doing something because everyone else is doing it. But we prove that there's a real impact, right, of actually bringing forth this content. So you guys have all seen the excitement around new tech. You've probably felt some of the fear, maybe some of the uncertainty. You've been testing, and now, honestly, it is time for you guys to set a creative standard and to implement. So thank you very much, and have a wonderful rest of the day. Thanks, guys.